from what I've seen of the footage, Brandt comes across as inexperienced, shall we say, in the field, and certainly in the level that Tom Cruise's character is.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about, maybe that's deceptive, I don't know, you don't want to give things away, but tell me about the character and where he's come from.
I can tell you, yes, that is deceptive, but how can I tell you? He starts off as the chief analyst for the secretary of the IMF, who's sort of like, I guess, the president and the voice behind giving the missions. And things go awry. And then when things go awry, we're all thrown together. And that's when we start to learn that there are other, I don't know, there are allegiances or other things, secrets really, that have to be revealed, because we know that everybody is not what they seem, especially in Brandt's character. And that's kind of made the part appealing to me too, by signing on. So I thought, yeah, it was a lot of fun to play for sure.
He seems quite comic, is that fair? Or, not that he's a comedy role, but...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's sort of not taking... It's. I think that's just with the whole movie, that it doesn't take itself too seriously. You know, when it's supposed to be serious, it is serious. It's intense action, it's a lot of fun, and you go on this ride. But within the character sort of drama, it's actually really sort of character... I guess comedy, I suppose. I mean, there's certainly a lot of laughs. And that comes from our script and great director. He has that sensibility. You know, if you've seen any Incredibles, Ratatouille, or Iron Giant, there's a really strong presence of comedic tone to that. You know, you'd never call those movies comedies, but there's a character drama which becomes, you know, comedic. And I think definitely has a good stamp on that in this movie. It's a lot of fun, and I think there's some good laughs in it too.
I mean, each Mission Impossible movie hasn't necessarily been a sequel per se.
No, I don't think
They're
so.
kind of rebooting subtly each time. Is that happening again here?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's a very conscious choice on Tom's part to really have a strong director come in and put their stamp on it. And he never wanted to do a series or a franchise, and he really hasn't. He's still continued this to be its own sort of separate movie, and the only through line in that is that it's, you know, obviously missions, and it's Ethan Hunt going through these missions, and but each one has been very, very different, and this one is that. It's big, it's a lot of fun, it's a good ride.
Now, Tom seems to have a willingness to throw himself in the most ridiculously daring situations as an actor.
Yeah.
Do you have hairy stuff? Was there a kind of challenge to step up to Tom's level in that respect?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing competitive about it, but there's certainly sort of a learning experience for me. I mean, he set a really high bar, and I mean, the first things we did was the Burj Khalifa sequence. You know, it's the first thing we did. So I figured, like, wow, he's doing that. I definitely can do any of these things, right? It just took a lot of preparation, and his greatest advice and things he was very giving with on the set was sort of how to prepare physically and mentally, but mostly physically for training and looking at it. He gave me to say, look at this as like, you know, you're training like an athlete for, you know, you're a world-class sprinter, or you're this, or you're that, or, you know, it's a full-time job to do these stunts, and then not get injured is the most important thing. So it was a really high bar set, and I've continued that on for the movies I did after that, Hansel and Gretel and Avengers, and then now Bourne. That's the same sort of mentality when it comes to the physicalness of the movies. So it was a really, really great lesson and diving platform to go off into these movies and do, you know.
And how tough or how easy is it to maintain the acting, the character, in the midst of incredibly complicated stunts?
Yeah, you know, it's tough to especially to separate them too in style, and you know, if it's a fighting sequence, how do you separate that from Bourne or this or that? And it all takes on its own personality, and that really can help dictate how your character is as well. So it's a give and take, you know.
Tell me about Tom Cruise and a relationship with the franchise. You know, he's obviously not just its leading man; he's almost kind of its manager and its godfather. Did you get a sense of that as you made the film?
Absolutely, yeah. He knows that franchise. You know, he's a big, you know, part of that. He makes that happen. He pulls this thing together. I mean, and he's a cinephile too. He knows so much about cinema, and he's done so many movies. He's been on top of his game for 30 years or something. He worked with everybody. He knows what he wants, and who's going to get in his way.
At the same time, he's brought on these visionary directors. He doesn't just go for journeymen. He brings on these big directors.
Yeah.
For Brad Pitt, it's his first film outside of the animated arena. How much fun was he, and how did he get on with live action, using actors?
Yeah. He's actually a very likable dude, man. I love me some Brad Bird. He's fantastic. I feel like, if you've seen The Incredibles, which is one of my favorite films, it's so great. He's every one of those characters all combined. He is that guy that is so smart and wry. He has a really wonderful sense of humor, and he's a good human. I'm glad to call him a friend.
Did you get a sense, because Pixar's reputation is they're perfectionists, they'll take 4 years over a movie. Did you get a sense of that he wasn't willing to let go until it was perfect?
Yeah, in a different way. I think, when you're in an animated movie, that's I'm not even very familiar with that, but I know you're in the editing room a lot more than anything else. This he's having to it's just more about composition of the shot and the frame, and working with Robert Elswit, who's another really wonderful DP that I've worked with several times, doing it on Bourne now. I think all of them work together, really well. And as far as being perfectionist, I don't know. I felt like he got what he wanted. I don't think it took that many times to get what he wanted.
Now, it's a spy movie, but one in a very modern spy movie in a modern context. Is that easy, or is that difficult to set a movie in the modern world order? It's constantly changing. Who the villains are seems to be a mystery.
Yeah. You figure what else can you do to kind of keep the stakes high, and with technology, getting better and better at all these sorts of things, and this is where what I think separates the movie from everything else is that there's a sense of humor to the movie. All the gadgets, really fantastic technology of it, but half of them don't work. There's a really, really good stamp on this one. It's a lot of fun.
I was going to ask that, are they just fun to make? You've got Simon Pegg, you've got Tom.
Awesome.
Did you have a laugh?
Yeah, I mean, every day. Yeah, it didn't seem like work at all. I mean, it certainly wasn't. We had a lot of fun every day, especially when the four of us got together with Paula and Simon and Tom and I. It was you throw us in a car together. They had a hard enough time trying to get us to do our lines with the scene because we were having such a good time.
And if they so chose, Paramount, and they wanted to carry on a Mission Impossible strand with just you, is that possible without giving the game away?
Well, I have no idea. Is it possible? I don't know. You're talking to a guy who's in Mission Impossible, where anything is possible, I suppose. But that's up to the audience to see. Hopefully they love this movie, and if that's the case, then Tom wants to do another one, and we do another one. Paramount's like, okay, let's do that. I have no idea what the future holds, but I do know this one's a great one, and I had fun doing it. I can tell you that.